Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I know I sound a little bit depressed because the Knicks just terrible basketball game. I guess that's all I can really say. You know, you seen what they did. They played a terrible basketball game against the New Orleans Pelicans. Rough night. You know, definitely the back-to-back, I think, impacted tonight's game. The Knicks looked like they had heavy legs all night long. They couldn't buy a shot. Everything was short. And then when they figured out that things were short, they tried to shoot it a little bit harder, and everything was long. Turnovers like crazy. Julius Randle was made of apples tonight. Tony, he was made of apples tonight. They skinned him, they peeled him, and they turned him over. That man had 8 turnovers tonight. You know what I'm saying? That was a rough game to watch. Even when the Knicks tried to make runs, they just couldn't get it done. You know what I'm saying? They just could not get it done tonight. Very, very rough night for the New York Knicks, man. The schedule makers didn't do us any favors. You know what I mean? They didn't do us any favors. You know, just having, just this next 5 days, right? They didn't do us any favors. Played last night in Atlanta, then got to go to New Orleans, you know, play in New Orleans. We'll be back, you know, then we got to go to Cleveland, right? You know, we get 2 days off, go to Cleveland, play in Cleveland, and fly home and play Cleveland again in New York. You know, that's tough. You know what I mean? I don't know if Cleveland is on the same, has the same, you know, a similar type of schedule, but that's a tough schedule right there. But hey, you know, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But, you know, tonight was a terrible night for the Knicks. Really, really bad. I don't even know what else to say. Tony, any quick thoughts on just recapping the game? Then we'll hit the box score game stats, and then get to some fan reactions. Of course, the phone lines are open, 516-362-5212.
Yeah, it was good, Sim. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. Again, I was at work, so I couldn't watch most of the first half. I guess I lucked out on that part. I was listening to it though.
First half was brutal, especially the first quarter. It was brutal.
That's all I kept hearing. Yeah. So, I wasn't even trying to take a peek except to look at the score.
Yeah, it was brutal, man. That first quarter they scored 12 points in the first quarter.
Ooh.
Yeah, 12 points in the first quarter. Brutal. I want to give a shout out to Margaret Edwards. Thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? So she said, for appreciation for the Knicks content, I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we got Lauren from Cali on the phone. You know, we wasn't really ready for fan reactions as of yet, but you know, I'll let him get in for a quick 2 minutes. 2 minutes, Lauren.
My bad.
2 minutes. Hold on, you're not even on yet. He's talking to my ear. You're not even on yet. I'm about to get you on. I promise. Lauren, what's going on, man? You got
good,
2 minutes. You got a quick 2 minutes.
I got you. How y'all doing? Everybody good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Oh, we can't hear him.
So I just wanted to say this.
Oh, hold on. One second,
Lauren.
Lauren. Let me make sure everybody can hear you. For whatever reason, they cannot hear you. You can't hear them? Say something, Lauren.
Yo, can you hear me?
No, apparently people can't hear you, so you're going to have to hold on for a minute, all right? No, they can't hear you.
I got you.
Yeah, they can't hear you. Hold on for a second. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
You know, I don't know. You couldn't hear him, Tony?
No, I couldn't hear him. Somebody in the chat said they could hear him.
The chat said they could hear him, but you couldn't hear him.
No.
Yeah, that's weird that you couldn't hear him. All right, well,
Take the call though.
We'll go ahead and take the call and then go on from there. Go ahead, Lauren.
All right. So my bad. But first things first, we got to normalize thanking Mitchell Robinson every game. We just got to start off every game by thanking him for what he's doing on that offensive glass. Mm-hmm. Because games that we've basically lost in the first quarter, where we're going to be down like by 30 points, him on that offensive glass keeps us in the game. So we just got to start off with that, right? Because I know a lot of times his name comes up and like people not really appreciating what he does, but let's just make that standard. Secondly, I have to call myself out for not seeing something that could have been holding RJ back these years. It looks like he's no longer playing the little brother role. He's no longer taking a backseat to Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. It seems like he's now ready to just say, you know what? I'm willing to go all out and deal with the consequences, efficient or not. It seems like he's playing a lot more confident. And he said something at the beginning press conference this year where he says he only knows playing basketball in the NBA with Julius Randle. And that's true. So he may have been playing hesitant, not trying to step on anybody's toes, second guessing himself. It seems like now he's just like, yo, look, I'm just going to ball. If I fail, I fail. If I don't, I don't. So that's another thing. And I always look at the last point I'm going to make is I look at Knicks players based on their contracts and the return of investment. And for the most part, everybody does an amazing job. I will defend Julius Randle till the cows come home and go back to where they came from. But 7 turnovers in the first 3 quarters and 8 in total is not the wave. It's just not the wave.
No,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like,
you're right. No
and it's not even
it.
just the turnovers anymore. It's how he's doing it. It's almost like, is your feet on? Come on. 8 turnovers is wild.
8 turnovers. 8 turnovers for Julius Randle tonight. There's no excuses for it. You know what I mean? He's got to be better than that. No excuses for it. 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers for Julius Randle tonight. And most of them, not having a good handle on the basketball, lazy passes. He was just terrible tonight.
I mean, there was one
he did.
Terrible. He did a double turnover where he made a turnover pass while committing a charge. Like, son, what are you doing, yo?
Yeah.
Just relax. And then another thing, last point. I'm sorry for this.
And not only
quickly.
Hold on. Not only was he turning the basketball over, but Zion was
frying him,
killing him.
Zion
was killing him.
The cat. I'm like, yo. And I'll be the first to be like, yo, I don't want Zion. I can't really argue with anybody who's saying they want Zion. I still don't want him. But my goodness, he's doing windmill layups. Like, yo. And then Emmanuel quickly. Hey, yo, Leon Rose about to give you this $14.99 a decade contract. You keep bricking. If you want your money, you're going to need to slow down and just play smart hoops. Like, you got to relax, baby boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're just shooting ourselves in the foot. Like, that's basically
all night long, we shot ourselves in the foot.
And you've always called me out every time I call out Tibbs. I got to admit, a lot of times I'm like, yo, Tibbs, do a better job. But I cannot blame Tibbs for a lot of the stuff that we're doing right now, though.
There's only one thing I would blame Tibbs for tonight. I would blame him for one thing tonight. One thing. Since we were playing on the second night of a back-to-back, knowing we were going to have heavy legs, feel like he should have opened up the roster a little bit. Should have opened up that roster a little bit, right?
Big facts.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, they played heavy minutes last night in a tight game that went down the stretch. They were already gassed last night in Atlanta. You had to know that tonight they were going to be gassed the same way.
That's big facts.
Yeah.
Big facts. And before I go, like the lady before me, I'm going to be respectful because I call y'all all the time. I'm going to drop a bag on y'all. I promise. I got you. Because I do appreciate everything y'all do for the Knicks.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I mean, just calling in and being part of the show. Just calling in and being part of the show, though, I appreciate that. Even if you can't.
Man, I got you. I got you for real. I
appreciate it. I appreciate that. Lauren? All right, man. Be peaceful. Be peaceful. And I want to say thank you to Sahara Dasi. Thank you for the Cash App. All right. I truly appreciate that. When she said, way to shout out and let people know about those sponsorships. And yeah, we may have a couple of them coming up. Sahara, thank you. I appreciate it. All right, let's get to one more. We didn't even get to fan reactions yet. We couldn't even get to the box score and stuff, but we'll go ahead and take one more call. Then we'll get to the box score and all of that. Some people may not even care about the box score. We played so bad. Caller, you're live. What's your name? Name and where you're from, please.
Sim at Spree, what's up?
Spree, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? I see a different name up here. I didn't even recognize it. What's popping?
Yeah, man, I'm using my wife's number. I'm looking at the stats on my phone. I wanted to have the stats in front of me while I call you.
Okay.
But let me ask this on Julius Randle. Do you think he's lost weight?
I think a little bit. I think he might have lost some weight a little bit. Yep.
Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Ah, man, that's a good question. Actually, it's something. The crazy thing is that's something that I've thought about. I thought about it during the game. Now, obviously, next to Zion, you know what I mean? Like, Zion is huge, right? So he looks small next to Zion, and it was apparent that he is not as strong as Zion, right? Zion was able to muscle his way to get where he wanted on the floor, and then even, like, Zion, what's crazy is Zion's layups. It almost looks like he's just throwing it up there, but then when you do a close-up on it, you actually see that he's looking at the rim, and that's his style. But I think he has lost some weight, a little bit thinner. I don't know if it affects his strength. I think, maybe he was trying to get faster so that he could, I guess play more out on the perimeter. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know.
I knew this is what teams were going to do to Brunson. And Brunson will figure it out because I figured it out yesterday. He got all the threes. Brunson's smart, but I knew that teams were going to, after last season, double the pick and rolls, blitz it, and just treat Brunson like the all-star he is. The refs need to treat Brunson like an all-star. That would be nice. That would be nice if they gave him a call. I think, so the Randall thing, Sim, I think it was noticeable to me. It's funny how you said the same thing with the weight. We got to get Randall back, man. He's got to get playing with force. We got to get him back. I mean, 8 turnovers. That's not acceptable. We got to get the Randall we had last year. One thing I want to ask you about, the play at the end of the third quarter where Hart definitely fouled him, but I thought Ingram shoved him in the face before Hart fouled the guy for the Ingram for the N1. Yeah. I thought Ingram did an illegal contact to get the separation. What are your thoughts on that?
I think he probably did. But I'm also going to say this because I did see, I was on Twitter and I seen some people complaining about the referees and there were some missed calls, no doubt about it. But I thought New Orleans played more aggressive than us.
They did.
I thought they played in the first half, especially. I thought they played more aggressive. Now in the third quarter, the game got a little bit more gritty, and I thought that played into the Knicks' hands. But New Orleans ended up stepping up to that too. And I thought they played,
deserved more calls because they were aggressive. I'll give you that.
Exactly. I think they got some of those calls because they were more aggressive, right? They were quicker to the basketball. They weren't afraid to bump. They were more aggressive.
I'll give you that, but don't you agree that was a big play? Because think about it, it was 6 points, and then it swung the momentum back to 9 at that play. If it was, that was tough for me, Sam.
Yeah. I do want to say, I do want to say this, and I agree with a couple of people in the chat. Going back to talking about Julius Randle, let me see who he was. I missed it, but I missed someone who said, talked about losing weight. Gaining muscle is a way to build more strength, and someone just said, David L said, if you want muscle and strength, losing weight is better, and I do agree. But the weight does give you a little bit more boom when you have weight, because you have some people who are thin but strong, but they don't have the girth to provide the boom that pushes your opponent backwards. You know what I'm saying? King Josh said, I don't think slimming down affects his strength. I agree. I don't think it affects his strength. Again, I think the weight, like I think you've got to have a good, healthy portion of muscle and a little bit of. I mean, your body is supposed to have a little bit of fat on it. You know what I'm saying? And I think the girth allows you to bang people, knock people back because you have a little bit more boom going into that person. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
But I get it.
That's
also,
fair.
I get it. Also, though, players want to slim down. It also helps them to, especially he's coming off of an ankle injury.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be walking around in just regular life with 20 more pounds because, you want to protect your ankles. And then playing at a high pace, high speed with a lot of power, you want to protect that ankle. I think Randall's going to be okay. It's a rough start to the season. I think he'll get back in there, turn it around. I'll say the turnovers were terrible. He's not forcing shots, though.
He's not.
But the turnovers were terrible. Tonight looked like the first season, right? He was getting doubled and tripled, and they weren't just right away sending a double team. They were waiting until he put the ball on the floor and then sent the double team. They wait until he spin and then sent the double team. They were sending double teams at weird times, and he could never get a grasp of when or where that double team was coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because they did a really, really good job of waiting until he put the ball on the floor, made his move, bam, and now here comes a double team.
Yeah. I mean, they confused them, but you just made a very good point though about the surgery, the ankle surgery. I'm going to give Randall some time here. I know fans don't want to hear it. Obviously, I'm not going to give him forever to get his game going. He had a really good assist game. Like you said, Sam, he ain't forcing it. We got to get him back, his awareness back and his power back, and see the Randall that we all love. Yeah. But he is coming off surgery. Let's be fair to the guy.
No
so I'm going to give him some time. But one thing, Sam, just like this play where Brunson can't land on the three and they continue to clip his feet. They didn't call it tonight, but do you think that's going to be a thing, a constant theme with his threes? Guys are constantly on Brunson's feet, and I feel like the refs think Brunson tricks them sometimes, and he's not getting those calls.
Yeah, I think it's going to take Tom Thibodeau and other guys calling out the referees.
I like the fact that he got the technical.
Yeah. It's going to take these guys calling out the refs.
A couple times now where they go for his feet, Sam.
Right. Calling out the refs and saying, hey, look what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And pointing it out. And possibly even, I know NBA teams can do this, taking video clips and sending it into the league. Say, look, this has happened this many times. And we're not getting the call. It's gonna take that happening, maybe, possibly.
All right, and the last thing before I let you go, Tony and Sam, quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Quickly was awesome the first game of the year. I didn't like him last night. I didn't like Quickly's play tonight. I'm not hating on Quickly. I would have paid Quickly. This is me respecting Quickly because he was the sixth man of the year. In the playoffs, he got hurt. He struggled a little bit early in the playoffs. It happens with young players. But I think Quickly was an $80 to $100 million guy. Probably 100 is the max limit I would have paid because he does have a ton of value to the team, Sim. But there are nights where Quickly just plays like there's nobody else on the court, and it's a little bit of 1-on-5 basketball where if he ain't making, it's very hard to watch. And look, obviously he's a good defender. You need a guy like that because he can obviously light you up and he gives you the three. But Sim, don't you agree there's some nights where Quickly does drive you nuts? Is that fair?
Oh, and I think he's always going to be that way. There's no doubt about it, but I think he's always going to be that way. Yeah.
That's why
always.
I said I would have paid him, Sim, but I wouldn't have paid him $130 million. I can't do that, Sim. I personally cannot do that.
But this is the reason why I think the Knicks probably said, or all of them, whatever, however, they were willing to wait until the end of the season. Let's see where he is. He played a great game the first game under control.
Yeah.
He hasn't played as good as that first game. Let's see if he goes back, looks at it, figures out, okay, what did I do? Obviously, he made shots. He hasn't really shot the ball that well over the past few games. See what he does, Spree.
But Tim, are there times where he, like, when you're watching the game by yourself, watching Quickly's moves and some of the shots, like, are there times where he drives you nuts and you're saying, what are you doing?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
All right,
No
so
doubt.
you're like me. All right, thanks, Tim. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, Spree.
That's it.
As a matter of fact, just about the end of the half, I think it was about the end of the half, the Knicks were down 12. And, they quickly went for a 2-for-1. And personally, I didn't like it. I was just kind of like, with the way that we're playing right now, I don't want a 2-for-1. Let's just get a good shot, because he took the 2-for-1, missed it. They went back down the other end and scored. You know what I mean? But when he took the 2-for-1, in my mind, before they even scored, I was like, this is a bad time for the 2-for-1. We're not playing well. We're not making shots. You know what I mean? Let's just secure it. Run this possession down to the last second if you have to, or 3 seconds on the shot clock, and try to get a good shot, and then come back and play defense, instead of looking for that 2-for-1. You know what I mean? He pulled up a quick 3. They come back down and score. And, we end up going down 14 or 15 or whatever it was. There are times for the 2-for-1s, and then there are times you might want to say, no, I'm not going to take the 2-for-1. I thought that was the time not to do it. But I don't know. They you noticed throughout the game, they were playing Zion. The scheme to play Zion was to back up off of him, right, and kind of create a wall. It didn't work. Wasn't even close to working. I actually felt like, by them backing up, it gave Zion room to build speed, to build momentum. I didn't, I felt like that was a mistake, backing up that far to play him. You know what I mean? Because he's got the speed. He doesn't really have a jump shot. Obviously, everything that he made was at the basket. Maybe he made 1 or 2 jump shots, but they would back way up. But then he could get ahead of steam. He could pick and choose which way he was going to go. It didn't work. They put Mitchell Robinson on him. That didn't work.
Yeah,
Zion just did his thing tonight. He didn't score crazy points, but efficiency was high. And if they needed him to, nobody would have been able to stop him. They had no answers for Zion or Brandon Ingram, but for Zion for sure.
Yeah, he's looking good so far this year.
Yeah,
he's looking like, you know what I mean? I mean, it's always been a case of availability for him. It's not like this is a surprise. Like Zion wasn't who he is.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? So
yeah,
tough matchup.
yeah, tough matchup. Before we get to just reading off the box score, my man B-Baller for real asked, why was the channel demonetized? It's a long story, but basically YouTube is claiming that my majority of my channel is reused content, which obviously is wrong. So, they algorithms and stuff like that make a lot of mistakes on YouTube. So if you are a content creator, be careful, because the YouTube algorithms make a lot of mistakes when it comes to, demonetizing people and things like that. So, that's where we are now. So if you want to support the channel, you see the Cash App, $ nothing but Knicks. See it right there on your screen. I'll put it in the chat as well. But let's get to the box score, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks were led in scoring by R.J. Barrett, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 43.8% from the field, and only 16.7% from the three-point line. The Knicks shot terribly from the three-point line tonight. Terribly. I mean, not one. The best shooter was Josh Hart at 33.3%. And that's still not that good, 33 points. And that's just 1 for 3. You know?
Yep. It was like he was the best shooter because he only shot 3 of
Because he
them.
only shot 3 of them. You know what I mean? Julius Randle, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists tonight, 8 turnovers. More turnovers than assists. Almost more turnovers than points. 10 points, 8 turnovers. Almost had a triple-double. He almost had a triple-double last night. He almost had a triple-double tonight. Except instead of assists, turnovers. Mitchell Robinson, 8 points, 15 rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds, but I'm not necessarily sure that's a good thing that he had 10 offensive rebounds. It's a good thing simply because the Knicks needed the offensive rebounds because they were missing shots. But the more shots that the Knicks miss, the more offensive rebounds Mitch is going to have. You know what I mean? So kudos to him for grabbing those offensive rebounds, but I don't want him to have to grab 10 offensive rebounds. That means the Knicks are missing a lot of shots.
I mean, Sim, we shot good the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
But last year we was not a good shooting team. So so I'll never say I don't want him to get 10. I don't care. I mean, if you can get 20, get him. You know what I mean? Because ultimately that was part of our success. You know what I mean? It just so happened that we missed almost everything tonight, especially from 3.
Yeah. Tonight was, it was just a rough one. It was just a rough one all the way around.
And I think last year it was the same thing. When we didn't shoot the ball well, like from 3,
mm-hmm.
we just we couldn't figure out ways to pull the game away.
Right.
So it's like we gotta at least shoot decent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For us to be successful.
Yeah. Right. Quentin Grimes, 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 for 9 from the field, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. Brunson, 14 points, 5 assists. Brunson's put together one good game, right, against Atlanta, but for the most part, he hasn't played well in 2 of the 3 games or shot the ball well in two of the 3 games, 28.6% tonight. Josh Hart, 1 for 5, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, 3 points, 10 rebounds for Josh Hart. Quickly, 10 points, 44% from the field, 0% from the 3-point line. DiVincenzo, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 for 7 from the field. Hartenstein shot 100% from the field. He was 1 for 1. That's the story of the game right there, folks. That's the story of the game. Looking at the game stats, Knicks 18 turnovers. 18 turnovers by the Knicks tonight. 8 of them by Julius Randle. 8 of them by Julius Randle. That rebounding number has to be wrong. The Knicks didn't have 65 rebounds. They didn't have 65 rebounds. You know what I mean? I'll take a quick look at it. NBA.com does that all the time. For some reason that the calculation sometimes is a little bit wrong when you see it. I'll tell you right now, the Knicks actually had, well, they didn't have 65, but they had 50. They had a high number, 59. They had 59 rebounds tonight. 19 assists, 18 turnovers. So it's actually 59 rebounds for the Knicks tonight, not 65. 7 steals for the Knicks, 8 for the Pelicans, 3 blocks for the Knicks, 5 for the Pelicans, 18 turnovers. Pelicans only 13. Pelicans played a really good game. The Knicks 36.7% from the field, 18.9% from the 3-point line. That's not going to get it done, that 18 point. 18.9% from the three-point line. It's not getting it done, no matter which way you look at it. The Knicks took 37 threes, 7 for 37. The Pelicans, on the other hand, tonight, they only took 33 threes. The Pelicans, it felt like in the first half that the Pelicans were killing the Knicks from the three-point line, which maybe they were, but they only shot 27% from the three-point line. They shot 46% overall. They only had 43 rebounds. They had 20 assists. They were 7 for 16 from the free throw line. Listen, when you look at the numbers that the Pelicans had, if the Knicks could hit some damn shots, maybe they win this basketball game. I mean, they couldn't stop Zion or Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, 64.7% from the field tonight. 64.7% from the field for Brandon Ingram. Zion Williamson, 70.6% from the field. Herbert Jones, 66.7% from the field. It's really those other guys, Dyson Daniels, Kerr Lewis Jr., right? C.J. McCollum, only 36% from the field. Those guys are the ones who, messed up the scoring percentages. They still shot 46% on 87 shots. They were 40 for 87 from the field. The Knicks took 90 shots. Yeah, I mean, rough night. I'm going to the optimist in me, Tony. I'm going to blame this one on the schedule. The schedule. I'm going to blame it on the scheduling. That's what I'm going to do.
We got another back-to-back coming up, so
but at least with this back-to-back coming up, they'll be on a back-to-back as well. Right?
Fair.
Because they're playing against us on the first night. I mean, on the first night of the back-to-back, talking about Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So at least that they'll be on the second night of a back-to-back. The thing about this game, Cleveland had basically all the time in the world to just sit back, watch, and study 2 games against the Knicks in preparation, right? Because they played on the 25th. 3 days later, they're playing. The Knicks played on the 25th, day off, played on the 27th, played on the 28th, and then, played on the 27th and then played on the 28th. So, they had a couple of days to practice and prepare, and that can make a lot of difference in a basketball game. You know what I mean? So I'm going to blame this one on the schedule. Especially, having a back-to-back on your third game of the season. That's, it's tough. It's tough. Some mistakes were just on the Knicks, but, Ron said it the other night. He could see the Knicks coming in and having a bad night, and they did so. They did just that. I want to shout out to my guy, Kashif. Thank you for the Cash App. I definitely appreciate it. Saying I definitely appreciate it, Kashif. My guy been hooking me up, man. I definitely appreciate you, my brother. I don't know, Tony, your thoughts, man. Just some thoughts about tonight.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. If they were well rested, obviously, we looked tired last night, so that was bound to be a concern. I think. I mean, I'm jumping the gun, but you mentioned it already earlier. That decision of Tibbs not opening up the roster or opening up the rotation a little bit, I think that was a little detrimental. But the slow start was what really killed us more than anything else. Obviously, we fought back. We tied the game. I don't think we took the lead, but we tied the game. So it's still a resilient team. You know what I mean? As bad as it was, it felt like we should have been. I didn't think we was gonna come back. You know what I mean? So the fact that we brought the game back, that questionable call, couple questionable calls early in the season. I'm not too concerned with this loss. Again, if we squeezed out the first one, we 2-1 instead of 1-2. So I think the real thing is how we come out on the next game. You know what I mean? The first game of the back-to-back. You know what I mean? Do we go in there and try to take care of business? Obviously, Cleveland's gonna be up for that game. I'm jumping again a little bit, but you know what I mean? We took them out the playoffs first time we seen each other. I think they're gonna be, and they home, they're gonna be ready for us.
Right.
How do we come out for that one? You know what I mean? That'll be the one that I'm like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah. And not only are they gonna, be thinking back to the playoffs, but they're also gonna be, Donovan probably wants to go to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a brewing rivalry. I don't know if it's fully there yet, but it's brewing. You know what I mean? It's a brewing rivalry right now. Yeah, the Knicks got to rebound. I think that's going to be the key now. How do they rebound in that Cleveland game? That's definitely going to be the key. Now, you play them on back-to-back nights. That's tough as well. We'll get to that. Get to that next game, but that's a tough one too. Because it's going to be hard to get both of them.
Let me ask you, what would be your biggest concern so far in the season? Like, is it Randall, or are you still like, he's just getting back? Had to take the whole summer off. Obviously, barely played in preseason, etc. Or is he still your biggest concern, or do you have a different biggest concern so far?
It's a good question. I'm gonna think about it real quick, but I want to give a shout out to Eric Allen. Thank you for hitting me on the Cash App. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Thank you for supporting the channel. I thank everybody for really, supporting the channel right now, especially right now. I appreciate you guys, man. And Kyle Williams, I'll work on getting the PayPal up here, but Kyle Williams, I appreciate you. Thank you for hitting me on the PayPal. I'll work on getting that notification up here soon too. I appreciate that. Thank you. I think that Randall is, and my man Eric Allen said YouTube is tripping. I agree. YouTube is tripping. They bugging out right now. You know what I mean? They're bugging out. But Randall is a concern for me right now. He is. I think he's a concern for me. I feel like what I'm looking at is similar to what I seen when he first came out in the Cleveland series. I thought he was like playing tentative, timid. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, when he came out in that Cleveland series, obviously he was coming back off of an injury, but he was like tippy-toeing a little bit, and I felt like it was because of the ankle. But I was like, okay, well, maybe it's slowing him down and it's going to help him to make better decisions and things like that. But the energy part of him never recovered. He had a couple of good games with Cleveland, a couple of good games with Miami, but there was just that energy part. I don't feel like it recovered, and I'm not seeing it right now, like the fire. I know Uncle Fulio last night was like, don't worry about that. I think he's, it's the new Randall. That's what some people are saying. I'd like to see the fire. That's what I'm concerned about. You know what I mean? I seen him argue with the refs a couple of times. I don't know if that signifies fire, but I didn't see the fire like, okay, you know what? I'm not, Zion's not going to chew me up like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to go through his chest right now. Like, I didn't see that fire. I don't know if the ankle is still an issue or if there's something else.
I mean, part of that is he wasn't going 1-on-1 against Zion. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
know.
mean? I mean, I'm just saying, just like he didn't really get an opportunity. I would have loved to see him get that opportunity to go one-on-one. And to Zion's defense, he wasn't necessarily going 1-on-1. He was splitting double teams and
Yeah,
everything else.
yeah. He wasn't going 1-on-1 either. But the thing about Zion is, I mean, they didn't really send a full-on double team at Zion. It was more like, okay, Zion has the ball like they do with Giannis. Zion has the ball. We're going to back way up and we're going to build this wall. But he was able to split it and get between it because he was able to back up. See, Zion is a little bit different than Giannis. Giannis is taller, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's got more limbs to go through, right? Zion is shorter. So he can get himself into a smaller package to get through. You know what I mean? So I think it was difficult, obviously, defending him. I'm not sure if that was the proper way to defend him. I don't know if it was. Obviously, it didn't work, so it didn't work. But with Randall, though, his decision-making just isn't as snappy. Because, he get the ball, and, he's looking, I get it. He's trying to see where the double team is coming from. But sometimes if you just get it in attack, you can get to where you're going before the double team gets there. And sometimes that double team might come and foul you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I am a little bit concerned with Randall.
Yeah, I think his decisions
Right
haven't.
now. At least
He
right
hasn't
now.
been very decisive.
Right. He hasn't been decisive. Also, he didn't get a chance to do the type of work that he normally does during the off season, so I do recognize that as well. And I'm not gonna forget about that. I think he's not in. His body's always gonna look like it's in shape. Endurance wise, all of that, I don't think he's fully there. So it might take a couple of games. He'll have that breakout game though. I'm confident of that. He'll have that breakout game and go on a little stretch of a run. I think Brunson will too. I think they'll both have those breakout games and go on a run and we'll be better. We just gotta make sure we stay afloat until those guys get it going. And I think we talked about Jalen Brunson though having a tough start to the season because teams were going to play him physical. Teams are going to send guys at him in waves, right? Trying to stop him from scoring, all of that. So I think we knew this might happen with Brunson. I think Brunson will definitely figure it out.
Adjusting starting lineup,
Yeah.
or not starting lineups, but now they may put the two on him or the better defender on him to start the game.
Yeah.
Where that wasn't necessarily the case last year.
Right.
So
there's a lot of things that the Knicks got to work out this season so far.
But to me, that's why the second, not just the second unit, but the rest of the team is going to be so important because if Randall's getting these double teams, if Brunson's getting these double teams, not just and granted, if they don't turn the ball over, make the right play, you got to knock down them shots.
Yeah.
And you got to take them shots.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You got to knock down those shots. Big shout out to my man Phoenix. Thank you for the I keep wanting to say super chat, but thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. But yeah, you got to knock down those shots, and that started early in the game, which allowed even more aggressive double and triple teaming of Julius Randle. Right? We started off just nobody knocking down those shots. Nobody knocking down those shots. Now they're like, oh, they're not hitting. They're shooting 18% from the three-point line. Trap them hard. They're not going to hit it anyway. And we didn't. You know what I mean? Any key plays or decisions tonight that you thought really affected the game?
I mean, My one was what you said earlier about Tibbs not expanding the rotation for tonight.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the biggest one. Like I said, I couldn't. I was listening to the first half. The Brunson. Oh, that was just a non-call, right?
Which one was that? What was that?
When he got the technical for on a 3-point play, he missed the three, but landed on somebody's foot.
Right. A non-call. Yeah. Or I don't. Was it him or was it Thibodeau who got the tech?
I thought Brunson got it.
Oh, I'm not sure. I thought maybe they. I don't know. One of them got it.
I mean, at that point, I was peeking. I think that was the second quarter. I was looking, and I seen him like really up in the ref's face,
and
same screen he put the tech. But it might have been Tibbs, but the camera was on. You know what I mean, on Brunson and the ref at the time.
Yeah.
So I assumed it was Brunson.
I think obviously the not opening up the lineup, I think was, I don't know if it was a key, but I think it could have helped. Fournier could have helped. We couldn't hit a three. Fournier could have helped. Maybe he got hot, right? Maybe he came in and knocked down a couple of threes. This is that situational basketball that we talk about. If guys are situational, use them in situations. And this was a situation. 18% from the three-point line. Put Fournier out there, see if he can knock down a couple of threes. Maybe he knocks down a couple of the other guys and things get started. I mean, we did cut it to 6 a couple of times, right? I get that, but we still weren't knocking down threes. And we needed it. Maybe if he gets out there, hits a couple, things get rolling, but obviously, we didn't see him.
It's gonna be the storyline anytime we shoot, under 29%.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
29 or under.
I agree with Spree. When we were down 6, we cut it to 6. End of the third quarter, Brandon Ingram gets a 3-point play. That's a killer play. That was one of your key plays because if he gets that ball, if let's say they don't score, now you go into the fourth quarter like, okay, we're only down 6. We're playing terrible. We're only down 6. Let's come out here with this energy. And try to take this game, try to steal this one. Instead, we go down 9, come out in the fourth quarter, go down 11, 13,
I was going to say, you could take it a step further. First play of the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Opportunity to get it right back to 6. And squander that.
Right.
And, use that momentum.
Yeah. But, but that was a big play. That was a key play. That was one of those backbreakers, I think. That was one of those backbreakers. 6-point game, all of a sudden, boom, it's a 9-point game. And, it starts to make you feel like, we ain't going to get it done tonight. Start to feel like that. And obviously, they didn't get it done tonight. They didn't get it done tonight. I don't know. Jeremy Nosbaum said, fire Tibbs, hire Simeon Russell. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, if they hire me, I don't know how much Tibbs has him running, but I'm going to have him running.
Sim, just put me on the staff.
I put you on the staff. I'd probably get fired. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, for putting me on the staff?
No. No, I'd probably get fired. I'd go there and after the first year, they'd kick me out because the players probably wouldn't like me because I'd feel like this. They pulled me out of nowhere to come here, and I'm not gonna get another job in the NBA, so I'm gonna do what I want to do. So I'll be having the guys, doing all kinds of crazy drills. They be tired, mad, like, man, this dude is bugging.
See, that's why you need me on
I'd have them out there working.
They come talk to me when they mad. You know what I mean? I'm like, listen, man.
I'd have him out there working, boy. Work.
He just wants the best for you.
You know what I'm saying? And but they might like me because we'd be playing some zone. We'd be switching to some zone, and I'd be doing some full court press. And Deuce would get some playing time in that full court press. I'm just saying. Just saying. I'm gonna tell you.
Chatting like you playing the kids, what?
You know, I'm gonna tell you a decision. This is a decision that was made that hurt the Knicks tonight. That wasn't even made tonight. That decision was made when they moved Obi. Because I feel like, and it's not even about Obi Toppin, but when Randall plays bad, we have no other options at that position right now. And I think that's a problem.
Shout out to Margaret earlier. She said in the chat, Randall has no competition. You know what I mean? And it's a fact. Like,
Yeah.
we gotta settle for whoever's playing the backup for at this point.
Right. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody there. And it's not even about, I mean, I agree with what she's saying about the competition. I agree 100%. Right. But there's nobody there. When Randall's playing bad, you just got to go small. And then you're probably just going to stick with him. There's nobody there to say, okay, you're playing bad. We're going to go with this guy for right now. There's nobody there. That's a problem.
It's one thing to go. It's one thing to have the option to go small based off of, you know what I mean, like whatever you're trying to do. But when that's your only option, you know what I mean, it changes things because now it becomes a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
You're not using it. You're using it out of necessity as opposed to because it could change the rhythm of the game, or you know what I mean.
Right.
So it's kind of sucks. I mean, we've been talking about that since the offseason.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
I mean?
we have. But this is a good, clear example of when you need some. You know, you just don't have anyone else to go to. I guess you could have said, well, we're gonna stick with Josh Hart. You know what I mean? But the size of Zion, the size of Brandon Ingram out there, Herbert Jones is 6'7" as well. Right, so your point guard is 6'3", shooting guard 6'7", small forward 6'8". Zion is what, 6'6", 6'7", or something like that. You know what I mean? And then you got a big guy in Valanciunas out there, you know, who's a brick. You know, so if you go small, if you take Randall out, you can't take Randall out. I mean, obviously you're gonna give him breaks and stuff, but you can't just say, in this position, in a game like this, no, we can't put you out there because you need his size. Because you need him to be able to help grab rebounds. Because if not, you'd be out there with Mitch and Josh Hart, who did have 10 rebounds tonight. Quentin Grimes, who's 6'5". Jalen Brunson, who's 6, whatever, 1. You know, and then RJ Barrett, that's 6'7". The only other guy that's like, that'd be, you know, we don't have any option there. And I think that is a problem. So that's a decision that was made, you know, a long time ago. We need a player there. Go get Taj. I'm with it. Go get Taj. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Taj could have helped to maybe help settle this down a little bit. Because they wouldn't have double teamed Taj or triple teamed him. You know what I'm saying? Now
they might have left him open.
They might have left him open. Taj had knocked down a couple of threes. You know what I mean? You know, I think it reared its head tonight. This won't be the last time that it's going to rear its head. Margaret said the MSG commentator stated how small the Knicks are. Dante wasn't needed. And I wasn't even watching from the Knicks telecast. I was watching from the Pelicans because I was watching on NBA TV. Right. And, you know, they didn't really mention the size of the Knicks, but yeah, you know, the Knicks are small. They're going to be playing small all year long unless they make a move. King Ja said The Pacers are playing well with Obi too. They beat the Cavs tonight. So what are the Pacers like 2-1 on the season or something like that? So Jeremy Nosbaum said the Knicks should sign Jeremiah Robinson Earl or Taj Gibson. We need some size. We need some size. And Julius Caesar said we're undersized at every position except center. I agree. We are. Just about every position we're undersized. Now we're a team that battles. Even though we're undersized, we're a team that battles. The Knicks could have folded. They never folded, right? They kept battling. They lost by 9, 96-87, but, the score was, that doesn't really tell you the story about the score of the game. Yeah. Yep. Player of the game for you? Player of the game? Who's player of the game for you? And it obviously don't have to be from the Knicks.
Nah, I'm gonna stay with the Knicks. I'm gonna go with RJ Barrett. His three ball didn't fall tonight. I think he was 1 for 5. But if you take away all the threes, even to make, he's shooting like 65% tonight. So he ended up 7 for 16. That's still like just under 50, 43%, something like that, 45%. But I think he still had a good game, other than his three ball wasn't falling.
Right.
So yeah, I'll go with RJ.
Me, I'm going with Mitchell Robinson. Mitch at certain points of the game, single-handedly kind of kept the Knicks at least close enough to strike by grabbing those offensive rebounds, kicking it back out, dunking.
Sim, they've been our best 2 players so far, like collectively in 3 games.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Or at least our 2 most consistent players.
Consistent players
in 3 games.
You're probably right. Especially Mitch, he's been pretty consistent. Now, the one thing we did see about Mitch, if we have dreams of Mitch posting somebody up or something, we might as well forget about that.
He got fouled. He got fouled. He got fouled, man. He was fouled.
I don't know. Maybe he did, but you know what I mean? If we have dreams,
listen. The rest wasn't going to call that foul because they never seen him do anything like that before.
Oh, no, Tony. I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, if we have dreams of Mitch catching the ball in the post, bomb, drop step, jump hook or something.
Sim, it came off the back. It was just very high, and it looked funny. But it went off the backboard, and it almost.
Yeah. That was a crazy shot. I was like, what the hell is Mitch? Like, he caught it, and okay, his foot looked good. Looked like, all right, Mitch is about to spin, fade or something. And he flips it up underneath. I was like, what is Mitch doing? It's plays like that. When people say, we got to find Mitch in the post, it's plays like that makes his teammates say, I ain't giving this man the ball in the post. Stick to the alley-oops, man. You know what I mean? When he gets those opportunities, even if he doesn't make it, it's got to look like, I can do something. I seen that, I was like, oh, Lord, what are we doing here? I don't know, Mitch, man. But if I had to pick a player of the game from the Knicks, it would be Mitchell Robinson. It would be Mitch. His offensive rebound, 15 rebounds altogether for Mitch. Only 8 points. He had 2 blocks. But, those offensive rebounds at times, kept the Knicks in striking distance. Kept them in striking distance. You know what I mean? Yeah. What about for New Orleans?
I mean, I'm gonna go with Zion. You could go with Zion or Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
But Zion, I think he only played like 27 minutes and dominated in the minutes he was on the floor. So
Yeah,
I'm going with Zion.
yeah, I'd go with Zion too. He was just unstoppable, unstoppable. You know what I mean? The speed, the power. He didn't take like just because everyone dropped back. He didn't like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to pull this. He just stuck with what he can do and what he does. You know what I mean? And what he took, 17 shots. On a night where he shot 70% from the field, he still only took 17 shots. Brandon Ingram, too, he took 17 shots on a night when he shot 64.7% from the field. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to give it to Zion, though, because I just thought, he was dominating the game. B-Baller, thank you for, supporting me by putting that in the chat. I appreciate it. And the B-Baller said he made Julius look small. Yeah, he did. He made Randall look bad tonight. Real bad. Real bad. What's your thoughts on Cleveland, though? We got 2 days to clean this thing up.
I think the 2 days off is going to help us.
Mm-hmm.
We're still on the road, though.
Right.
And it's weird because we were a great road team last year. And, I mean, we got to start kicking this thing in the right direction on the road as well. I think it's obviously a winnable game. And it may be a blessing in disguise that we lost this one. Maybe we rebound and come in with that energy from tip off.
Right.
Because we can't afford to get off to a slow start. But the biggest thing for us is the shooting. Like we have to be at least respectable from the three.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're better than that, I think we're very tough to beat. But for us to be who we are identity wise, we gotta at least be respectable from three. We don't gotta be lights out, you know what I mean? But we can't shoot 18%.
Right.
We gotta be at the minimum 33%. You know what I mean? And get a good amount up, and I think we'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. 18% just ain't gonna get it. And we shoot that low this season. I don't expect us to shoot that low, but you shoot like that, the season is done. You shoot like that.
Especially with the volume of threes we put up. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's not like, if we shot 10 or 10 and we made 2 and shot 20%, you know what I mean? I think we could survive that as a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But if we putting up 40 something threes, 50 threes, we got to be hitting 10, 12 of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. I just seen someone ask the question about Donovan Mitchell. I'm not exactly sure who it was because he didn't play tonight. He was out tonight with a right hamstring soreness. Right hamstring soreness.
Yeah, he'll be ready. He'll be ready for the Knicks.
Oh, he'll be ready for the Knicks. He's playing versus the Knicks.
He's like, let me get this one off. Now I got an extra day.
Yeah, he is playing versus the Knicks. He wants to show Tom Thibodeau what he can do. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm pretty positive he'll be playing against the Knicks. That's, a back-to-back, home and away, back-to-back versus Cleveland. Both teams in that second game are going to be on a back-to-back, of course. I don't know if I just asked you. I think I just asked you, right? We kind of veered off, but just that game, the series.
Cleveland?
Yeah. That home and away series that we're getting ready to take on.
I don't think we lose both. So at worst we split.
Mm-hmm.
At worst we split. And I feel like if we get the the first one, we get them both. So I feel like we win at the Garden no matter what. But I think if we win there, we get them both.
Okay.
And that's the thing. I am concerned. I think the first one's going to be a lot tougher. Like I said, they're ready for it, right? It's probably circled on the calendar, and if they didn't have the calendar because the schedule wasn't out yet, they was waiting for this game from the end of the playoffs. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
So they're gonna be ready. My concern is, I don't know if the Knicks get up for the game. You know what I mean? They'll get up because they just lost the game. But I don't know if they they got Cleveland circled. You know what I mean? Especially with Tom Thibodeau preaching, the past is last year is last year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new year. I don't know if they looking at it as, as a opportunity.
Right.
They may be overlooking them in a sense of not concerned or overly concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe this loss helps in that we're not trying to lose back to back. We had a stinker, so they're not trying to have back to back bad games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think we don't start off slow.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, they have a couple of days. They're going to get to Cleveland. They'll probably go to Cleveland tonight. Right? If they get to Cleveland tonight, they'll have a couple of days to get there, rest. Hopefully they're able to work through some things, walk through some things. Listen, they got some open shots. They didn't hit them. They got to work on, all right, what do we do? If we're not hitting shots and they're double and triple teaming Julius Randle, what do we do? Right? You got to figure out something. Because you got to fight back. You got to figure out something. What do we do? It can't just always be, we got to scrape. We got to scrap. We got to figure out a way to win while we're in the game. It can't just be that. You need a plan too. All right, he's not hitting. Right? Can we put RJ in the post? Like, what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? When that plan goes to hell. I think we gotta figure that out. All right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. All right. We do have a Losers Lounge set up. The first New York Knicks Losers Lounge ever. Got a Losers Lounge set up for 11:30. It'll probably be more like 11:40. All right. But guess what? This is going to take you right over. It's going to take you right over to the Losers Lounge. So come join us on the Losers Lounge. We'll be there for about 30 minutes or so. You know what I mean? Talking about the Knicks. We're going to be looking at what some Knicks fans have to say from other chat rooms and stuff like that and put it up there. And the next time the Knicks lose and we do a Losers Lounge, we'll probably look at what the opposing team is saying. Opposing team's fans are saying about the Knicks. We'll do both of them. All right. So make sure you join us on the Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone who supported me tonight, I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. Without a doubt. You know what I mean? And you better believe that I'm going to pay it forward to my fellow content creators and anyone else that I can pay it forward to. All right. I'm going to get up out of here, folks. And if you're feeling good and if you can do it, you can hit the Cash App. If not, I'm just glad that you're here with me, man. I appreciate it. Catch you on the Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen.